Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 2 for Home Safety Fall Prevention Week. Home Sweet Home, tips on staying safe at home. Well, welcome, and we're going to talk about home safety tips and how to prevent falls. So come on in. Say hi, Sophie. Did you know that every 11 seconds over the age of 65, there is a fall that occurs in our geriatric population? And that 1 in 4 a patient does fall. So we are going to talk about home safety issues right now, about how you can prevent and keep your home safe. As you can see, inner entryway is a great place to start. A lot of our residents have homes with rugs in there, and if you have rugs, you may want to think about, well, do they slip? Do they kind of move around? Do they need to be rolled up? Do you have hardwood floors, or do you have a fully carpet area? If you have a lot of these little rugs, you may want to think about, can I secure them with non-skid areas? If you can, great. But if you cannot, roll them up, put them away. Because that is the first place that a lot of people will trip and fall when they walk. So that's the first thing. The other thing you may want to think about is the lighting. If you have an area in your entryway that's very crowded, you may want to think about moving any pieces of furniture and make sure there's proper lighting as you enter your home. That's another thing to think about. So let's continue as we walk through our home. And as we continue to walk home, you may have your fur babies greeting you, making sure they're not going to jump on you. That's another thing that's keep in mind. And make sure your pets are accessible with you, but also make sure they're not going to jump and you can walk around them and do that. Another thing, as we are approaching daylight savings time starting to end, the lighting in your home is starting to change. So you want to make sure your lighting is adequate throughout your day. And you may want to think about timers in your home. Setting them up during the day to go off at certain times and going off at certain times. So at 4 or 5 o'clock, as the daylight starts to change, maybe setting them on to go off in certain parts of the rooms in your house, and then shutting them off at certain times in the evening, especially if you're coming home at certain times during the evening. Then you don't have to worry about wasting energy, but at the same time, feel like you're safe and you can have adequate light as you maneuver through your home, particularly in certain darkened areas. And as we continue to walk through our home, especially in our kitchen, which a lot of people love to do things. If you're like me, you love to cook, and if you're vertically challenged like I am, you just want to reach and grab things. Dishes, as you all we all like to know, getting to things from our cabinets, everything we use every day, cups, saucers, plates. You want to be able to reach them at eye level. That's real important. So if you can't get to them and you're having trouble reaching, between you have a bad shoulder and you're having trouble reaching and it's just hard, or you're getting dizzy looking up, you may want to get things more at a counter level or at an eye level that you can get, that you use every day. So start changing, particularly things in your pantry as well that you get to every day. That makes it easier. A great tool that's helpful is a reacher. Great tool, particularly if you have to get things into your drawers, or if you happen to drop things at the floor, or if you have to get things at the shelf area. If it's too heavy, don't try to get it, but it's something a little lighter, maybe a little easier that you can grab and it's easy to pull towards you. Another thing I tell patients, climbing things, stools. Sometimes a lot of step stools are not as sturdy. So keep in mind, if you do not feel secure on stepping on a step stool, do not do it. Some stools are a little more sturdy, some are not. So be very mindful about that. I tell people, do not climb on chairs that have wheels on it or folding chairs that are not very secure. I've had patients try to do that. Things to keep in mind for safety. Fire extinguishers, it's always good to have one right underneath your sink for safety in case of a fire. You can also put a nightlight too in your kitchen. Nightlights are great, particularly those that are sensitive with the lighting in the house. So as we continue going through the room of our kitchen safety, we're talking about our pets. Pet safety with the food bowls. Make sure it's secure. Areas that are non-skid area. You usually have the rubber mats. Water bowls. You know how the pets love to drink all that water and it splashes all around. Make sure there's no wet areas where you can slip and fall. And also able to reach to those bowls. Sometimes getting those bowls a little higher where you can get to the water a little safer and the food a little safer makes a big difference. So that's another thing to keep in mind. As we continue to walk through our home, wires is another thing to think about. If wires are all over the place, I suggest you either change the way you got your lamps set up. You can also set those up on timers. You may want to put a protective barrier where you can have the wires put over so you don't have to step over or trip over them. Keep that in mind. Another thing is chairs. If the chair is soft and you're sinking into it, it's hard to get up and down. That makes a big difference too with falls. Chairs are firm support, make a big difference, and higher to get up and down. Makes it easier for you to get up and down. So keep that in mind. You have a favorite chair, I get it, but make sure you can get up and down from it. Sometimes you can add a cushion to bring it up a little higher to give you a little more support. Adding a pillow behind your back makes a big difference. If you got one that gives you a little bit of leg rest support, that's great too. But if you got a recliner that you're sinking into and you can't get up and down, it may not be the best chair for you to get up and down from and you're falling back into. And let's talk about shoes. If you got hardwood floors, and trust me, I sometimes want to take my shoes off when I get home, and you're walking around barefooted, big problem if you're going to slip and fall. And if you're wearing no shoes, no socks, and you're diabetic, big mistake, because that's where sores can develop. And if you don't have very much feeling, you're more likely to develop more problems and also cause sores to develop and cause injury to your feet. And as a diabetic, and you're not checking your feet, that's where a problem can occur. The other thing is, I tell patients, slips and falls can also occur when you're on rug as well as on hardwood floors. So a lot of people says, well, I like to wear my flip-flops. It offers no support. Not at your toes, not at your heel, and not at your arches. As we age, our foot flattens and our ankles are weak. Does not offer any support. Favorite slippers. I love my favorite slippers too, and I wear them when I go to bed. Great to do, but they offer no support. There are slippers that offer a lot more support, and there are ones out there that got a good rubber sole, get a good heel support, so you can find them too. So what I usually tell clients, if you can wear a good shoe, easy you can slip on, good sneaker throughout the day, those I highly recommend. The key thing is I want you to get mobile and be able to walk and move around. So good shoe wear throughout the day makes a world of difference for us to walk. Now, let's talk about furniture walking. I hear this a lot. People say, I don't have to worry about a cane or a walker. I just hold on to the furniture. It's all around. My house is set up real good. I have no problem. And if I fall, I'm going to fall right on my couch. Well, if that's the case, let me tell you, then you feel that you need to look at seeing a physical therapist. If you rely on the furniture to get around, you need to have your balance assessed. That's where you need to have a conversation with your doctor. If you don't like using your canes or your walker to get around, I understand. But then a physical therapist can look at your balance and say, we can do something about it to prevent falls from occurring. A cane, a walker is a tool to help prevent falls. It is to help you stay steady. It is not there to make you feel old. It is there to help you move safer and get your walking to be in a better place. So let's have that conversation. And you'll notice in our next episode, we're going to teach you some balance exercises to get your balance back on track. So stay tuned for that episode. So walkers, canes are there as tools. So if you're doing furniture walking, it's time to get your balance checked out. So let's continue our little tour here for our home safety check. As we go into our bedroom, again, if you have a pet, make sure the pet bed is near a place where you're not going to trip and fall. If you have a high bed and it's way high and you need a step stool to get up and down, you may want to consider getting your bed a little lower, because that could be a problem in the middle of the night when you have to get up to go to the bathroom, or even just getting on the bed. So if your bed is too high, consider getting it lower. Having a good lamp, having a flashlight, having a night light accessible is important for safety. Also, if you have a phone or a cell phone, keep that nearby and charged up in case of an emergency. That's also real important for your safety as well. These are all recommendations, and that's another thing. And if you have to get up in the middle of the night and you feel a little dizzy, sit up on the side of the bed for a few minutes so you do not feel like you're going to bottom out and fall, because a lot of people usually have falls in the nighttime, especially when they're getting up to go to the bathroom. And if you feel like you can't make it to the bathroom, you may want to consider what we call a 3-in-1 bedside commode to put at your bedside, so making those trips a little bit safer so you can prevent from falling. Also keep your cane and walker nearby too. That's another safety feature. So as we enter into our bathroom, make sure you have a night light. Those are great because those will be already set up in the night. If you have trouble getting on and off the commode, there are things called raised toilet seat, which are a great useful tool, and it can be removed. It doesn't have to be a permanent fixture. A lot of people think, well, I grab onto my toilet paper thing to help me get up, or I grab onto here to pull me up. Not good, because this thing can come off the wall. You can think about getting what we call grab rails, something similar to this, but a little bit sturdier, that can be placed here to help you pull up and down. The 3-in-1 commode is very similar. You can put over that has handrails that it can be suitable to help you get up and down. And again, these are not permanent fixtures. They can be removed. So if company comes, it's not something that will change the fixture of your home. Something that you can use as a tool until you get stronger and be able to get up and down. And some toilets now can be changed, and you can get it installed, a higher toilet now to be put into your home. When you take a shower, think about the rugs. If this rug is moving, you need to get it removed. Or you can get one that stays permanent by getting those non-stick features so it'll stay put there. Another thing is, when you get in your shower, can you get in and out of your shower? Can you get up and down? Do you need to install grab rails to get in and out of your shower? Do you need something to sit on? You can get a shower chair or a shower bench. Those are great to have. You can install a long-handled shower hose to also help you shower, so you can get all those areas a little bit everything to make it safer. Having a little shower caddy to have in the shower area where you have all your shower items, your shampoo, soap on a rope or soap on a pump. Make it easier to do that shower task so you don't feel like you're fumbling and trying to reach for things, because reaching for that soap down on the floor, if it slips out, is one of the things that happens when a person falls and ends up breaking a hip. It's a common thing I always hear about patients when they fall in a shower. So these are just tips to have and keep reminding us patients to have so they don't have a fall. And we want to make sure you continue to be safe and independent in your home. So all these are great little tips to have. And this concludes our Home Sweet Home Safety Tips for Fall Prevention Week. Stay tuned for episode 3 and see you in our next video.